What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show. Hold on a second. I don't like something here. I'm going to do this. All right. There we go. Host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that's sponsored by Dove Plus Care. And being part of that movement, not a team, it's a movement, we have reached directly and indirectly over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And I'm speaking by the end of this year or early next year, I'll be able to say 500,000. So I'm really excited about that. As always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles and solution for someone's problem. We're broadcasting live on October 11th here in Toronto, and fall has hit now. Though, you know what? It's not too bad today. It's about 65 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not bad. It's coolish also. I think I did turn on my furnace, was it Thursday night? That's a true indicator. But you know what? It's been a great year so far weather-wise. I'm not complaining until the snow comes next year, but some people, names will not go announced here, don't have to deal with that, so we're not going to go there. They know who they is. Well, both the ladies that are coming on today, they don't have to deal with the snow. Well, maybe Dr. Tachi, maybe. No, I don't think so. Well, let's get to it. It's Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa. FYI, Aisha's not with us today because she is actually at MSNBC. Hello today. So she's having a good time. But you know what? We got LaLa Key in the house. And then we got a member of the Primetime Saturday family known as Dr. Tachi is in the house. What is going on, ladies? How we doing?
Good. It's been a good week.
Fantastic.
Look at and you see, and this is why you got to watch video-wise. Dr. Tachi's attire is just smashing.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so much.
With her skin tones and her lipstick and everything, just coordinated plus.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. What's been going on, ladies? Always good to have you here. I like to always give us a win that you've had recently.
I finished my holiday bliss guide. It's 90 pages. 90 pages.
Link?
It's on my webpage, which is laurakey.net. Okay, holiday bliss.
There you go. It's all there. All right.
But here's the cool thing. I actually made it so that if you're a business owner and you buy it, I will put you in my awesome business directory. And every week, all the way up through December 10th, I will send out my business directory to all of my database. And so I want to push small business.
Am I allowed to get in their database?
Yes.
Me too.
Yes.
Yes. There you go. So LaLa, what spurred you to create the 90-page thing and the business directory?
Well, for one, I am really serious about Black businesses and small businesses and minority-owned businesses, since a lot of things like that have been taken away and like crushed this year. I want to make sure that I keep the focus on those. I also have stopped shopping at certain places because they don't honor our Black dollars. And so I no longer shop at those places. So somebody's got to fit in where I need hair care, artwork, gifts for a family. So that inspired me to do that. But I am also a huge holiday girly. Okay, from Halloween all the way to New Year. I am. You can't stop LaLa from being the la 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 la. I love all the lights. I love the costumes. I love when we were in LA, we always went to the big festival of Halloween. And I've got a picture of Will and I as Prince and Apollonia.
Wow.
Okay, what do I have to pay to see that picture?
Oh, I'll send it to you. I'll definitely send it to you. But just the holiday love and being able to be around family, but to keep balanced. So my guide actually talks about balancing, how to say no to things that you need to balance with planners, skills, leftover recipes, you name it, it's in there. And it's only $20.
That's a steal.
Yeah.
That's a steal.
Yeah.
That's a steal. That's a steal. All right. So that's
So I'm proud of that. I'm really proud of that.
How long did it take you to complete the guide?
I really went through it for 6 months because I wanted to be a complete guide.
Okay. Okay. All right. Dr. Tachi, give us a win that you've had recently.
Every day is a win. Let me just say that. And I have in the similar strain of LaLa, I have, and you may have seen this, I have an ebook that I've had for a while that has been, it's kind of been finished for a while, but I keep adding to it. It was actually intended to be notes based off of a class that I taught on lighting. And this was a few years ago I did that. So I taught a class on proper lighting. And so this actually talked about, so it was the notes for that class that actually turned into an ebook. And so that it covers lighting, camera, and sound. So I'm getting ready to actually put that up.
Well, you got it down, sis. So of course.
So what inspired you to take the next step with that content?
I've been wanting to do that, but in this world, things change so fast that I was just, waiting to update it, and I kept updating it. But my thing is, if I wait to update it, we'll never get out, because every 6 months in media, there's a major change. And so what I did is I've updated it for the last time right now, just so that I can get it out. And yeah, it's kind of like a starter guide for camera, lighting, and sound. And it's kind of based off of my technique of production that I've developed. So.
Okay. Nice. Very nice.
Love it.
Nice. Yeah. And so LaLa asked me before we went live, how you doing, Dr. Vibe? And I told her not a lot of people do ask me that. So I said, well, I'm doing fine. I'm like an 8 out of 10. Had some wonderful wins during the week. One of them every year for the last years in Toronto, they have a conference called Elevate, and it's a tech conference. And there's a lot of different presentations and things going on there. One of the people that spoke this year was Anthony Scaramucci.
Oh,
yes, but he talked more about Bitcoin and things like that, and giving suggestions how Canada can approach it nicely. But they've had some it's actually, Dr. Tachi, if there was other than summer, that would be a thing both you would love to come to. Lots of presentation about women in tech, AI. It's like 2 full days of just from about 10 o'clock in the morning till 6 p.m. Different things happening all the time in two different buildings, from women in tech, AI, Bitcoin, all these different things that are going on. It was really interesting to see. And I ran into a lady. It was funny. We began chatting. I could tell by her accent, she didn't sound like she was from these parts. Let me put it that way. And she was non-melanated. She was from Moscow.
Oh.
And we had a wonderful 45-minute conversation. And what happened is, obviously she was not a fan of Soviet government and all that. So eventually she got a job working in Toronto remotely for a European company doing fintech.
FinTech,
yeah, there's a lot of presentation about fintech at this thing too.
That's huge.
Yes.
Huge.
What's fintech?
Financial technology or finance technology.
Okay.
So payment systems and things like that.
Okay. Yeah. That's the first I've actually heard of it.
You're kidding.
Oh, wow.
No, that term? Yeah, I guess. Maybe I just overlooked the term.
No, it's huge. It's
huge. Yeah.
Really, really big. But she was, so she was able to get the company, paid her way, got her immigration status and all that stuff. She's living in Toronto. And it was just a really wonderful conversation, and get lens through someone who's lived in Russia for most of her life. Really fascinating. And I didn't bring with me, but one of the people there was Google. And guess what software they were getting people to try?
What?
Was it VO3?
No.
Nano banana?
Yes.
Nano
Yeah.
banana. Okay.
They,
Wow.
so they had people trying it. They only allowed you to do certain things. And I got a picture of me. Think about like me in like an 80s polyester tracksuit, gray and white. When they did it, it looked like I'm like a wrestler from the 80s walking on stage. It was, I forgot to bring it. I'll bring it next time. But it was
Wow.
so. But yeah, they were demoing it there, Nano Banana, and it was cool. It was a really good conference. Like there's so many things. If you're anywhere into technology, there's something for you there. Like last year they had Kara Switzer from the Pivot podcast and longtime journalist. Actually, Dr. Tachi, she's actually coming to town
Oh,
with Scott Galloway.
interesting.
The Pivot, the podcast they host,
Yeah.
they're taking it on tour. So they're bringing it
Oh,
to
how
about
wonderful.
8 cities. Toronto's their first city, and Toronto was the first one to sell out.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I'm very, very, and not a plug for the Pivot, though I do listen to it and I do like to enjoy what they have to say because they're very much involved in the tech and social political space. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. And also it was interesting this week. I'm rambling on here. I won't stop it. That the Native Land podcast has now added Bakari Sellers.
Yes, I heard that. I heard that they did a
Really?
whole social media campaign
Yes.
with it and made people think that they were shutting it down. And people were
Mhm.
like, no, but it was just they were changing, but by adding Bakari Sellers.
Yeah, they actually had a very interesting conversation on their 100th episode about are Black women and Black men at war. It was quite an interesting conversation. Uh, and it's something. It seems that some people in the comments are not fans of Bakari Sellers, but that's a whole other conversation.
Clearly they don't care. So
Yeah. And look, yeah, but that's else. But yeah, and very much enjoying Sora 2.
I played around with it a little bit. I'm pretty excited about what I've been able to make. I think it's fun. But I do have a question. Like, do you have to be the upgraded user to get the Sora watermark off? Because I'm actually wondering, guys, because honestly, some of those are kind of frightening.
Yeah, I've
Some
seen
of those
some
are
of the
really
stuff, like, I've
frightening.
seen Martin Luther King stuff. I'm going,
Yes.
and
I'm like, wait a minute.
well, but that's where the way OpenAI is. They just reach it out there, and I think from what I've heard, they're beginning to crawl it back a little bit. But I think they're just we're just going to at least put it out there, no trademark stuff, and if they've got enough money to pay any lawsuits.
Well, I have to say, Bernice King came out and said, please stop sending me these. You don't understand that this is causing trauma to those families.
Yeah.
And people think it's just fun and oh, we're just going to send them. You're making them go through the trauma of losing their loved ones. And I have to say that I understand that because someone this week has taken interest in my sister's case. And for me to sit down and have to write out the outline one more time, it really brings up all those emotions. It brings up all that trauma. And I think that people just have lost their concept of decency in a lot of things.
Why do I feel that's going to come up in the conversation somewhere today again? Dr. Tachi, go ahead.
Yeah, really quickly. I think it remains a question whether or not we really truly had decency or there were things that were just holding us back from that. And I think, again, we live in a very individualistic society. Western societies, particularly the US, tends to be very individualistic. So as long as an individual is getting joy from it, they're able to get likes and follows and all of that thing from that content, they really don't give two dams about who it hurts because they're very far removed from it. But in societies where the good of society is prized above the good of the individual, you don't have issues like this because you are we and we are you. In the US, nobody cares.
Yeah. I don't see that so much when I'm overseas. It's really interesting. It's just an interesting parallel when I'm there to see the news being a different thing than what it is in America, what's truly being reported on, how people have love for one another in a different culture. Portuguese people are very simple people. I absolutely compare it to me growing up in the country of Prospect, Kentucky. That's how I grew up, where we all cared for one another. And when I'm there, it's always a different sense of peace than what it is when I'm in America. It's really interesting to see that parallel.
Got it. No, in regards to your removing the watermark from Sora 2, the only way I've been able to do it is I've used some free online sites, and it does an okay job. It doesn't do a great job. And now I've reached out to our dear friend Tanya Smith to see, hey, what do you use for your stuff? But right now I'm just using, and again, when you remove the watermark, you got to say, is this good? And like, am I even happy with the way it looks in regards to removing the watermark? So, but
it's interesting because Sora moves it. It starts in the upper left, and then it moves it down to the right. Which is what TikTok does too.
TikTok does that. Instagram does that. Whenever you download it, it's that same thing. And for now, we need a watermark there. Two things with that. I think that I've seen people already. I watch a lot of YouTube, as you both know, and I've already seen people creating YouTube ads using Sora 2.
Oh yeah.
Can you please at least have a version of something that doesn't have a watermark? Why would I buy from you if I know this is AI now because it has a Sora watermark? How can I believe that your product does what you say it does, or maybe it does in Sora 2 land? So, I'm when it comes to marketing and things like that, there's a fine line and you have to be very careful. But it's one thing to use AI for ads. It's another thing to use AI for ads, and there's a clear watermark telling me, hey, this is AI. Now the integrity of what you have to sell me is at question because you created that. You can make up anything then if that's the case. So it will be very interesting to see. I love AI, but it needs to be used with nuance.
Yes, and here's another thing. You already have people who are very biased with AI, period. So if they see that it's made with AI, then they're already biased against your product or your service. So, I am all for making AI twins. I love that. I'm actually teaching a course on that. But it's also done with responsibility. The way that I'm teaching it is to be used the proper way. Not to try to fool people, but for me, I train a lot of realtors. So of course I want them walking through the house, those things like that. Well, that's something to me that's useful. That's not misguiding people.
Well, you already know there's a whole bunch of Gargamels who will take that information and do something wrong with it, but you're not to be held responsible for that. So
yeah. It's such an interesting topic. I mean, I know we've talked already about it, but it's just a very interesting topic because it evolves every single day. And then there's also a lot of controversy around it about what is being made with it. It's been very interesting to watch people and their dynamics toward AI.
Well, the stuff, I don't use any other figures. Actually, I did one with myself promoting this show, and I got to work on it, but if you want, I can actually show it today. If you want,
sure, I'd love to see it.
Yes, I was going to say yes.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
I
gotta see if I can. Actually, do I have it in the queue? I got to see if I can upload it, but I wasn't really happy with it. But
well, it takes a couple of times. That's the thing that people don't understand. It's not instant. You have to learn to prompt. This is what I'm teaching people. The prompting is everything.
I do have it. So we will show it today. I thought we'll show a number of things. Like for me, I'm using it sparingly and I'm not going overload with it. Right. And I'm not using any famous figures. That's the only figure that I'll use, and I'm infamous. I'm not famous, so I'll leave it that way. I'll leave it that way. All right. Let's go to break. And when we come back from break, we'll do some housekeeping, and we're going to roll into the company. I was going to say probably is a company. I was going to say country, more like company called America these days, because certainly run like it's a company these days. We will be right back in what I'm going to find here, 30 seconds. Today, talking about a very important thing on Black Canada Talking.
I would imagine there are lots of people who seek support from a psychologist. There's no consideration to their experience as a Black person.
Yeah, he's a narcissist, and I take a narcissist serious, but he's also admitting that he just screwed his country because he's going to feel a lot more pain.
For those who don't understand, let me put it in the language of non-Western countries. That's called corruption.
They voted for him. You got him, not us.
You got him, not us.
I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for him.
All right, let's girlfriends chat with Aisha LaLa and Jill Jones. There's a Patreon address, which is the old stuff. The newer stuff is at Substack. The address is there. Primetime Saturday store. There is the link there. Join our Discord group. Please email me at drvibeshow.com or click on that link or go to that link that's showing there. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. To advertise your business, product, or service, please email me at drvibeshow.com. And I'll let Dr. Tachi talk about IndieSoup Media.
Thank you, Dr. Vibe. So IndieSoup Media is an independent network for independent content creators. We've got great people on there like Dr. Vibe. And of course, by default, LaLa, because we do replay Primetime Saturday, this show, Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa on Fridays and at 5 p.m. Eastern time. I think it's an amazing network. We have amazing creators, and we would love for you to be an amazing viewer. So you can tune in on our YouTube channel. That's the easiest way, at IndieSoup Media.
What a great promo.
Thank
what
you.
a great promo. Okay, and before we go any further, if you are watching this epic conversation live, you can call in. Go to callme.ro.com on any browser, and you can use the code FSPL8L. And what I got to do is also, I always like to show people, when you get there, you put in your name, you make sure your echo cancellation is on, mic gain is on, and you hit the green join call. I'll patch you in to chat live, because the veteran of that is sitting on our screen right now, Dr. Tachi. She is always calling in, and that's a beautiful thing. All right. Let's do our first conversation piece. Oh boy. Letitia James, the New York Attorney General who defeated 47 in court, has been indicted by the U.S. Justice Department. Ladies, what you say?
Well, I have a lot to say on this because it has to do with mortgage fraud. So, this week, the New York Attorney General went after Letitia James, the New York Attorney General. They're after her. So the woman who took down Donald Trump in court, hint, hint, was hit with a federal indictment. So 2 charges were actually put against her: bank fraud and making false statements. But according to the prosecutors, she bought a house in 2020 and said it was her secondary residence. Now, y'all know I'm talking real estate here. Now, in that line, they actually claim that gave her a slightly better mortgage rate, and that saved her about $19,000 over time. And then she allegedly rented the property instead of using it herself. Well, that of course made it like a investment property. But here's what's crazy. Career prosecutors in Virginia reportedly passed on this case. They said there isn't enough to charge her. Mm-hmm. So then, after the leadership swap, a new U.S. attorney pushed it straight to a grand jury. straight to a grand jury, y'all. And suddenly the same weak case became a headline. And of course, we all know, and according to Letitia James as well, she said this is definitely political retaliation. And we know that. So this isn't about mortgage. It's actually about power. And it's actually showing that if you come after Trump, the system is going to come after you. And that kind of move really chills every public official who might think about, holding the powerful, such as Trump, as he sees himself, accountable. But here's where it gets slippy. Check this out. If Letitia James is getting charged for what she listed on a home loan, then the whole lot of politicians beside her in court, because take Tulsi Gabbard. She and her husband swore an oath that their house in Austin, Texas was their primary residence so they could get the homestead tax exemption, right? Then she turned around and voted in Hawaii during the 2024 general election. 2 states, 2 legal residences, and it depended on what benefited her the most. Or check Herschel Walker, who claimed to be a Texas homestead exemption while he was running for Senate in Georgia. Not only that, Gonzalez, also Brooks, also doing them. So all of them are navigating in the gray area. But why did Trump go after Letitia? You know darn well why he did. So why is she the only one facing federal charges? Because she crossed the wrong man, and because this administration seems to be thinking that Justice Department is how they're going to retaliate against people. It's as simple as that. This is nothing but a retaliation. The judge is even like, we can't even do anything with you right now. So this is nothing but a political farce.
Dr. Tachi?
Yes. I don't know what else you want me to. Yes. This is heavily politically charged. And the person that you neglected to mention in this is himself.
Exactly.
Satan himself. And I can't say this for sure, but I'm pretty sure he's getting homestead exemption for that Mesalago that's down there,
Yes.
that's down here, right? But you don't live there. And in fact, this was not even your primary residence before. New York was your primary residence, your place in New York. So why are you exempt from and this is what we're talking about, king-like behavior or trying to behave like a monarch, where your actions are exempt from the letter of the law. This is what monarchs do. You're not exempt. This is you too. So if you're going to go, and the thing is, you're not even, first of all, they're not bright enough to cover their tracks. We saw with that flub up by, what's his name on television the other day. They're not bright enough to cover their tracks. And so
was that the Stephen Miller thing?
Stephen Miller, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh,
crazy,
wow.
right?
He was quiet because he knew he messed up.
He showed it.
He messed up with this.
I saw that, like, he froze.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, maybe is there my reception bad? So I watched again. No, he froze.
That's what my daddy used to call deer in the headlights.
Yes. So the thing was, it's like it was as if he said, maybe if I just say nothing, I'll disappear. That was what it was like. So again, this shows that they are not bright enough to cover their tracks and to keep up. Listen, it is so difficult to lie. To lie and mislead really takes so much energy. I know these people are tired at the end of the day because the amount of misleading information they put out there and then the subsequent lies that need to be told to cover up that misleading information is a full-time job. It's 2 people's full-time job. So I know they are tired. The point being that because they're not bright enough to cover their tracks and to actually perpetrate fraud, quote, the right way, you end up with things like this. So apparently, from what I was looking at, the savings that Letitia James got on the mortgage because of what was put on there is $600. So you mean to tell me in this climate where she knows she's a target, she specifically for $600 a year,
Right.
600. See, this is what people and lots of people are saying this. Come on now. It's not like it's thousands. The saving is $600 a year. Or is it a year or a month?
I think a month.
A month, right. So,
Yeah.
but even then, for somebody in her shoes,
chump change.
$600 a month is nothing, right? So that's the amount that, many people's mortgages have shifted over the years, depending on interest rate, etc. So let's not play here. It's very obvious that you are targeting, that it is political retaliation because you didn't do this with other people. So, and you're not even trying to act like, oh, well, what they will do is try and make excuses for these things. But I'm like, well, if that's the case, then why are you not going after, Shaniqua, Letitia, but all the other people that are doing these things, right? You're not, because you're retaliating against an individual. And I have to say, with this, the bravery of standing up to do what's right, because she knew that this man, this imbecilic lizard, is out to get people who are against him. She knows that, but still. She went ahead and said, no, we're going to prosecute because that is what is right. And that is what is right to do. And that is so difficult in this political climate to stand up for what is right. So thank you, Letitia James, for standing up and doing what is right. I applaud you because it's difficult. You knew probably you were going to become the target of things. You knew you probably don't have a whole lot of allies who will do something to protect you, but you did it anyway. Yet again, it comes to the Black woman to do something about all of this.
I was going to get to that.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I know, but it's hard not to mix this all in because it's all a ball of confusion that's connected. It's really hard to keep anything separated because it's such a dodgeball of 1,000 balls being thrown at us at one time.
Yeah.
But what people don't do is follow up with all those balls that we didn't get to catch, because a lot of those do fail. This one's going to fail.
If I want your permission to interrupt, just catching up. Jen Myers says, hello, everyone. Welcome, Jen.
Hello.
And Mike
Jen.
says, hello, family. And also says, this is intimidation dressed as justice.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the. But now here's another thing I'd heard a little while back. One of 47's, is it Scott Bessent, one of his economic advisors, has been accused of the same thing a number of years ago.
Yes. So it's always a not me, but the situation.
Go ahead, Dr. Tachi. I was going to interject, but go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I'll say it afterwards.
You brought in the Black woman perspective. Do you think that is part of the intimidation tactic?
Oh, yes. Yes. If nothing, listen, even if nothing else, even if she had not indicted him, even if he always comes back, he soon forgets who his allies are. He still would have come back after her because she is a Black woman. Yes. Definitely.
Main target. Black women are a main target for him.
See, and you know what? It's not even just him. It's people who are considered mediocre. And remember, you were the ones that created this necessity of us being brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
We're brilliant, because of DNA, but we're also brilliant because we have to be brilliant. We don't have a choice. How many of us were told you have to work hard? And in fact, I come from a high context culture where they're not going to sit there and explain things to you. You watch and observe and learn. So the watching and observing is we don't have time for you to be a failure or less than. You will be 17 more times more excellent than your classmates. That was just the message that was ingrained without saying that. Other people verbally got the look here. You need to be 17 times more. So whatever the case is, you've created this situation where now we have to be excellent and brilliant and super excellent, right? We've got to be more than excellent. So what happens when you continue to be mediocre, yet you've created a situation where other people are excellent? Now they're way above you in terms of skill and other things, and you're still mediocre. The only way you can have what you say you deserve is by squashing other people down, stepping on their heads on your way up. Again, you are pushing them down to their knees so you can stand tall. That's the only way they can do it.
I want to go a little bit deeper in regard to this in a broader sense, especially in American culture these days. How does race shape public narratives and media framing?
Oh,
Say
it's all
that again. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just to say it's all focused on that because it fits their narrative. Anyone that does not fit what they look like or feel like is superior in the way that they move, they act, they react with other people is a target. So the main people they're going to focus on, for one, is our community, the Black community, because we are young, gifted, and Black. Everything that you have has, including this country, was built on our backs. And any chance that they had an opportunity to tear down our communities, they took that opportunity swiftly and quickly. How many of our communities are underwater? How many of our communities that were thriving and successful were burned down? All because of jealousy, all because they have this false narrative fantasy in their world, in their minds, that no one matters other than them. It is all power-based. So if you don't fit their narrative, it affects everyone else, because what they want, they will take. And they see fit to be able, to them in their mind, they have the right to take and to claim. This has been historical fact. I don't see that ever not changing. So the narrative is not changed at all. If they feel that you are a threat to them, or you have more talent or more knowledge or more skill than them, they will take it from you as much as they can, whenever they can.
Could you repeat that question, Dr. Vibe? That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah. So if a Black public official is involved, whether as accuser, target, or commentator, how does race shape public narratives and media framing in America these days?
The overwhelming position is that you're already guilty of whatever it is. There is a constant defense of, well, no, that's not what happened. And you always have to over-explain and say the story is, well, what actually happened was. There's never the automatic grace that is given to other people. Okay. If you are a Black public official, the overwhelming thought process by many people, and I'm going to say many, because even if you're not that one, if you stand idly by and do nothing, you're part of them. You're just as useless in my opinion. The narrative in the heads of these people are, if you are a Black public official, you're already corrupt. You already lack skill. You already don't deserve to be there. You are a DEI hire. You somehow cheated to get there. I could go on, but this is what the narrative is. And therefore, when something happens, even if it's not true, even if it's said, you constantly have to go on defense to show, well, no, this is not true. This is not what happened. And in fact, people like Tang will go specifically to target these people because he knows that is what the public thinks. He knows that is what the public has in their minds when it comes to Black public officials. So, and he's already adding to the narrative. So, for example, Black public officials, I don't have the exact numbers, but for the most part, they tend to serve in areas that have large numbers of other people of African descent, right? Large numbers of quote unquote people of color, right? There are a few places where that may not be the case, but for the most part, that is the case, I would hasten to say, right? So you look, he's villainizing these communities. Look at Chicago. You're only doing that not only because it's a northern city, but you're only doing that because it has a Black mayor. Let's be clear. He's really targeting areas that have leadership that are people of African descent, right? And then poor Zoran Mamdani. Not only is he's Muslim, he is he's a Democrat, but they're labeling him like socialist.
Yes.
And he is South Asian, but was born in Africa and lived and went to school in Africa. That is the worst combination for them. They can't stand that. So they're working behind the scenes to villainize him as well. So you look at, for example, what's his name? Useless, spineless. Hakeem Jeffries.
Yes.
Has not endorsed him for mayor of New York City yet. Chuck Schumer has not. So people that are New Yorkers have not, because they aim to have the favor of the elites. And so I don't want to go into that whole thing, but if we're talking about what that does, now you transfer those feelings, the things that Tang has stirred up in terms of how Black public officials should be looked at, and Black public officials that lead cities that are majority Black should be looked at as worthless and useless, and what the trope is and the narrative has been for years. This filters down into what we hear in media as well, and that shapes the populace in the populist's mind, right? In terms of how we in general think about Black public officials. This is actually an excellent research question for like a thesis or dissertation, to be honest.
Yeah.
I want to throw something into this. Former President Mr. Biden pardoned a number of people. Do you think it may have been a good idea for him to pardon Comey, to pardon Letitia James? It always seems that people who look like us always have to do the dirty work, but no one's covering our backs.
Well, I can't necessarily say that all the way. I wish he would have, but because there were many that he did pardon, such as one that I don't agree with.
He pardoned his son.
Of course he pardoned his son. Of course he did. You know, honestly, and I ain't mad at him for it either. I'm really not. But you know, he did do the committee that overlooked and went after the January 6ers. And I think that they needed to be, because they were ones that are going to be punished. But I still think that they will be punished sooner or later, because Trump is just going down the line of people. But I also feel like that is a coverall that shouldn't be used all the time. And I'm a person who's mixed on that. I say use them sparingly, and use them smartly. And some of the ones that he did pardon, I was not happy with, but that was his prerogative.
At this point, the presidential pardon, does it even have weight anymore? After this fiasco, after this Cirque du Soleil, does it have weight anymore? Not really, because now you've set the precedent of pardoning every and anybody, regardless of what, and especially people who are crooks. You have now pardoned criminals, actual criminals. So since you've done this, you've actually sullied the weight of a presidential pardon. What does it even mean anymore?
Yeah, but at least it gets them out of, so look at 47. Look at all the people he has pardoned.
Mhm.
in his time. Even all the January 6 people pardoned.
Yeah, of course. And now they're still causing hell. They're still raising hell. There's a lot of them that are still raising hell.
Very
And
nice.
some of them have been rearrested on different charges, on different things.
Yeah, and then had nerve enough when it came to child corn, because you got to be careful what you say on these platforms. That claimed that he was covered under the pardon for that. No, sir, you are not. But that shows exactly who you are.
But the thing is to remember the Democrats have been playing as if the other side are normal human beings, and they are not.
Right.
And so normal
That's what I was
human
getting at.
beings, you see what I'm saying? Normal human beings are like, okay, I am going to use these presidential pardons very sparingly. Nobody had, well, no, we did have a clue, but I think they were not operating under the assumption that these people were going to behave like complete lizards and orangutans. They did not think all of this was going to happen. So that was not the thought in their mind. We have to remember we are not dealing with normal human beings, and anybody can fight me on this. You'll lose. They are not normal. And if you are normal, but you sit by and look at all of this happening, that proves further my theory that you're not normal, because normal thinking human beings will not sit idly by as things are dismantled, especially when we have been very vocal in the past about governments and administrations who partake in such things.
Yeah.
Some comments here. Enlightened Being says, play right out of Hitler's playbook. It's so clear.
Yeah, it is.
It is. And when this is over, what I don't want to hear about is forgiveness or truth and reconciliation. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear any of that. I don't want to reconcile with you. You are unreconcilable. The only reconcile with yourself in your jail cell. I don't want to hear any of that, because then this is what's going to happen when the tides turn. They're going to want to start, well, we should work together and we should talk about forgiveness. No, there is no forgiveness. Go to your God and ask for forgiveness. That's not my job.
No, I'm done. And see, that's interesting that you would say that, Dr. Tachi, because here's the thing. Someone actually said to me recently, well, why do we have to fight over disagreements of political things? I said, because, bish, this is not the same anymore. You are now talking about just being a pure good human. You stand on your word of saying, don't tread on me, but that's okay as long as it ain't you. But it's okay for you to tread on other people and their rights. Now, we don't have nothing in common. We have nothing in common, and I have no forgiveness. You voted for this. You stand behind this. Guess what? That has nothing to do with my world. So you can't be in my circle with that. I can't trust you.
No, and that's a key thing here too. You are untrustworthy. I would never want you in my space or my circle if I can't trust you when I turn my back to get a glass of water and you've wreaked havoc while my back is turned. No, I don't trust you. And further, this whole thing is super interesting because you want forgiveness. You want us to work together now and forget everything, because one thing is, even if you forgive, most people don't forget, and their eyes are open. It's like when you have a relationship, right, and one person cheats. Maybe I forgive you, but I'm not going to forget. And I'm going to find a time at every point. I'm looking at you side eye all the time, right? So I've forgiven you, but I'm not forgetting. And I'm looking at you all the time. So you're not really truly in the clear ever. Right? Even if, I forgive you, they're not, you may get forgiveness, but you're not going to get forgetness. Okay. That's not going to happen. And then also, I'm not just pointing the finger at them. I'm also pointing the finger of you stupid people who continue to support businesses and causes that are anti the rest of us. So why are you paying for your own oppression? People still shopping at Target, particularly melanated people still shopping at Target. I saw I'm this far away from unfollowing her, but there is a social media influencer who does home stuff, and I do enjoy her content. She did this one time where right by the thing, and they were like, sis, I thought we were boycotting Target. And she went on this whole diatribe of, I'm tired of Black women always having to be the ones to toe the line. It's convenient for me to go to Target, blah, 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 rubbish, rubbish, rubbish. Fine. Okay, I thought you now had enough sense. This person is a whole former attorney. I thought you now had enough sense not to go to Target and let us see. Nope, she did a whole reel where she came in, hung her Fendi purse on the door, put her Target bags on. I said, again, you're calling us stupid. Why are you paying for your own oppression? They could care less, and they said that. But you continue to buy and support the cause. What people don't realize is this is what I was going to say, Dr. Vibe. I know this is a diatribe, but this is what I was going to say before, that this is also, I feel a little bit of a way, because I understand that through the political system and being civically active is a way to show our interest in wanting things to be better. However, interest and reality often do not collide or coincide. The way for us to actually do things, I don't think is political. It's one way, but that's not the major way. It's just a figurehead. It really, in the grand scheme of things, makes very little difference, as we see. And I'm not saying don't vote, and that's not what I'm saying. The power is economic.
Right.
The power is economic. I don't care how many offices you run for. I don't care how many offices you have. We had a Black president. And so politically is not the way to change things. It's going to be economic. So when we talk about this whole thing with Black public figures and whatever, yeah, I understand representation is needed there, but that's not how change is going to be made, in my opinion.
Dr. Tachi, wonderful stuff as usual. LaLa, anything you wanted to add?
Nope, that was perfect.
Then one last thing, because I know both of you are online and on social media a lot. What are Black content creators or Black platforms saying, if anything, about Letitia James and her being indicted?
You know, I have to be very honest. I haven't had very many people that I follow speak about it. There are very few, but most of the ones that I do follow that are Black women in their own atmosphere, they do speak about it. They come out with all the facts, but I haven't heard much on the front. And it's really interesting because it's almost like, okay, we've got 4 stories. Which one are we going to focus on? And in my social media world, I really haven't had much reported on for that. The most that I've gotten actually is from Aaron Parents, who reports a lot, and he's a young white reporter attorney. But you know, he's always breaking news. But I've only had maybe one Black female come and talk about it and the history of his hatred toward Letitia James. Dr.
Tachi, anything that you've seen crawling the pages and alleys of social media from Black content creators or Black platforms, Black-owned platforms?
Yeah, well, so most of the people that I see that are talking about these things are journalists that I follow, obviously Joy Reid, Don Lemon. So these are people that are, their job is news. So they're talking about these things. But from the average, and I think I need to give a little more grace. I don't want to, but I need to give a little more grace to some content creators. This is not their alley. Like the way we're talking here, the average content creator that is making entertainment content, they don't have the skill to talk about this. And I'm not expecting them to, because this is not their forte. So for people that I follow, that, for example, I follow a lot of fashion creators. I follow a lot of travel and lifestyle creators. I follow some people that do health. And then, of course, I follow journalists. I'm hearing the journalists talk about those that are that talk about politics, history, and that are journalists. I'm hearing from them, but everybody else, not really. And I understand why. And I'm glad they're not, because I understand you have a big platform and people expect you to, oh, well, you have a big platform. Why don't you discuss this? Because they don't know. What I don't want to hear is from someone with a big platform who doesn't have the sense that two smash flies have. I don't want to hear that. So that's my answer to that. That I'm hearing it from certain factions, but they're already tied into this through government, through maybe a little bit of politics, through journalism, definitely.
All right. Well, I think that this will be. I keep on bringing up this title of the song more and more now. A never-ending story. It'll be very interesting to see, because I've even seen some articles saying this may even not make it to court.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's pure rubbish.
It's headline gabbing, and to divert from one story.
Exactly.
We all know what story that
We
is.
all know that is. Exactly.
Yeah, and the diversion is heavy. All right, so folks, we're going to take a quick 10-second break.
You are watching Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa,
where Aisha K. Staggers and Laura Key try to make sense of the nonsense in American news and politics.
And you are watching that. There we go. All right. Well, let's
Look
move
at them handsome and pretty people.
Very much so.
melanated people, right? There we go.
Beautiful.
All right, let's move to our next conversation piece. Truly, madly, deeply. 47's desire for Nobel Peace Prize is driving diplomacy. And I have to say, when I got up yesterday morning, I'm going, is he actually going to win that thing? And
I didn't think so from the very beginning. No.
yeah, but let's let you both talk about it, because there was drive about it, and it was very interesting, the statement from the head of the Nobel Peace Prize. I read about it, and his statement was very interesting. They focus on two things where 47, I would say, is not really good at, but that's a whole other conversation. But the whole Nobel Peace Prize. But what's funny too, the lady that won it complimented him.
No, I don't believe that.
I saw. Well,
You actually saw her do that?
talk, and I'm gonna share. So I'm gonna see if I can share what I saw. Go ahead.
So I saw that. Go ahead. Sorry, LaLa.
No, go ahead, Dr. Tachi.
Well, so I saw that as soon as I saw it online, I said, no, I have to research this. Now, what I did see was that he did have a call with the Nobel Prize winner. There was a laureate. They're called laureates. He did have a call with the laureate. Couldn't remember her name. But you had the call with her, right? And she said she said she was accepting this for him, like on his behalf. So yeah, he did say it. That's what was said. However, that's what he said. But the only thing that I was really able to verify was that they did have a conversation. However, I did see Twitterings about the fact that she said something on X. I don't have X, so I couldn't really check that out, and I don't know the truth to it. But what I did see in the articles that I did look at was that they did have a call, not that she, went through, that she said this, and this. He is enamored with this. Obviously, people have said this over and over because Obama has one, and he feels that he's 10 million times more capable in his mind in whatever land of chalk drawings he belongs to. He thinks that he is more adept, so why shouldn't he have one? This is really a tantrum. First of all, you don't ask for the Nobel Prize, any Nobel Prize. It's granted to you. But when you are used to using intimidation and fear to get what you want, you think you deserve it. But what he doesn't realize is something like this is not something that you can bully people into. And I'm very glad. And like LaLa, I never thought from the beginning that he even had a chance.
He's got 3 or 4. He's got more attempts to do it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, whoever actually nominated.
You mean buy it. You mean buy it, Dr. Vibe.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he does.
Yeah. Well, and see, people like him think that the amount of money and any amount of money that you can buy anything, But what they don't realize is you can't, because he's already learning that you can't buy respect. People don't respect him. They may be fearful of what he's
I
able
think you may push back on that, because a lot of people would say in his cabinet that they bow to him, and he's
No,
like,
no, they fear him. That's different. from
Yes.
respect.
there, okay,
Yeah,
I'm glad
there's a
you brought
difference.
that out.
There's a difference. There's a difference right there. You fear someone, that's not respect.
You just want to have a job tomorrow. It doesn't mean that you deeply respect this individual.
Well,
Think
I
of how
just
many
pulled up
times-
the BBC, and the BBC actually has her saying that she's grateful for the U.S. President Donald Trump for doing what he's doing around the world for peace. Well, there went my respect for her.
LaLa, you are
Sorry,
okay. We got you.
not
LaLa,
sorry.
Can you repeat what you said? Because we lost you for about 10 seconds.
I just pulled up the BBC, and she literally did say that she's grateful for what the U.S. President Donald Trump is doing around the world for peace. There goes my respect for her right out the window. Sorry.
How much did he pay you, and what does he have on you?
Exactly. Well, I'll do more research on that, but anybody who praises Donald Trump, I already have a question about you. There's something not right there.
Something's not right, and you already have my scorn. If this is true, you have my scorn.
But here's the thing: we sat here and we watched him throw this tantrum on a world stage. Like, it's a prize that he wants, all because President Obama. Okay, that is the only reason this man wants this Nobel Peace Prize. Now we know that it went to Maria Machado. And she's a Venezuelan opposition leader who they say risked her life for democracy. This is why I find it very interesting that this comment of her, I'm like not okay with that.
Yeah,
but he's always claimed that this should have been him. He's spent months hinting that his peace deals in the Middle East made him the most deserving man alive. And when he didn't win, he didn't just move on, just like he does everything else. So he wanted to make it a big deal to say that she called him. Now, I didn't know that until just now, what she said. But, this is just another story to me in his mind that fits his fantasy, that everyone, everywhere, great and small, secretly know that he's a hero because that's what he has in his mind. So here's the pattern of him. We all know it. He talks about getting the prize. He drags in Barack Obama. He reminds the crowds that Obama won one back in 2009. And he says, if he got one for nothing, I should have 3. It's nothing but envy disguised as outrage. He doesn't want peace. He wants parity. Obama lives rent-free in his head every morning. He wants to outshine everybody who represents everything that he's not. And here's the problem. When a leader, now he ain't a leader. No, let me retract what I said. When someone like him is in so-called power, he treats recognition as entitlement. Mm-hmm. So he wants that to mirror his ego that he has for himself, right? So this isn't a democracy. It's the early stages. No, it's not the early stages. It is the author. It's nothing but dictatorship, where the truth is always going to be bending to his personality. We know that. And everything is centered around him. This isn't a moment of anything other than him saying that he is God over the earth, and having the pure power. He's using the Nobel Peace Prize as a prop. And this is bullshit. It's all about trying to be Obama.
Well, you know what, too? The Nobel Peace Prize is also, any type of prize is also a testament to the fact that people agree that you are the best at XYZ. And he needs that because he doesn't have any of that. He's self-proclaimed best at XYZ, but nobody has actually awarded him to tell him that. So he needs that as proof to say, I'm actually the most peaceful being on earth. That would prove it for him, which is why he keeps talking about it ad nauseum over and over and over again. I think also the fact that you can't let it go. This is a big deal. The fact that he cannot let this go. Why? You didn't get it. You don't win all the time, but he has to win all the time. This is the thing. The fact that his name was even in the hat is asinine to begin with. But
well, several of his cronies that put him in there.
Yeah, so I think that we need to revisit the the process for nominating people for this prize. It's actually stupidity that you think you are even on the same line, in the same sentence as Bishop Desmond Tutu. How dare you?
Yeah, exactly.
How very dare you?
So, in the meantime, he's tearing down all of our cities, sending National Guards and military in and civil unrest here, but he wants to be the Nobel Peace Prize person. Are you fucking kidding me? Yes, I dropped that F-bomb because it's absolutely amazing to me that in his mind, he has two worlds. He wants to be everything to everybody, but in his mind, he is the greatest. And I mean it when I say he thinks that he's God. He has the God complex. Everyone should bow down to him because he is everything. Because there's been too many people that have allowed him to think that way and allowed him to get away with the things that he did, especially with the casinos, with what he got away with in New York City, with the felonies, and still now being in the White House, he feels very untouchable. So that is to him being a god.
Well, whenever we have these conversations, it always reminds me of, forget the guy's name who writes for The Atlantic, David Frum. And he did an interview a long, long time ago. He said, 47 only cares about two things, himself and money. That's it.
Yeah. He doesn't care about his family.
Everything revolves around those two things with him. Those two things with him. That's a foundation. And for me, that makes it really clear to when these subjects come up. Him, money. Himself, money. It's all foundational. Enlightened beings.
I've never seen somebody so stupid and so smart at the same time. Smart in the fact that he knows to only surround himself by people who will bow down and kiss his ring. That's it. He knows how to surround himself with people who will bow down to him. And in his mind, that who's always going to be like, oh, you're the greatest. Oh, Father, please, can I have some more? You've got Bondi. You've got all these people up there who put him on this plate of, oh, you're the greatest and we bow down to you. But man can't even put together a simple sentence. And doesn't even know anything about government.
Enlightened being says he has to be everything on everything.
Yeah. Yeah. May I also add, let's not forget that he's a conquistador. He has to conquer everything. Now, when we look at this, the whole thing of being president was about conquering something else. So nothing is ever good enough for him. It has to be bigger and bigger and bigger. And you would think being the leader of, well, okay, let's not use leader. Being the person who occupies the White House, you would think that is big. But so people who are conquistadores, they have to keep conquering new things, bigger things. So what's this next thing? And not just because Obama has a peace prize, but because it's something else to conquer.
Yeah.
He's going to be talking about this forever. Next, don't they do the nominations every year? Or is it every 2 years?
Yes, because he's already started with that. Okay. He's already started with that. And they and his cronies, his cult have already said, well, next year we're going to make sure that he gets it.
Next. Okay. Yeah, the thing is, you can't control that. He's trying to control everything, and I'm really happy that and here's the thing: what you can't do, you have to live that life. You can't just pretend he cleaned himself up, which is an impossibility. But just pretend he cleaned himself up, and because he wants his prize and he does things, it's lived experience. It's the way you live, not you cleaning yourself up so you can win the prize. And the committee can tell that. They've already put the criteria out there. You don't qualify, sir.
Well, they already told him what it involved, and I didn't see neither one of them qualifications.
He'll buy it. He'll pay.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, because this is what gives me a little glimmer of sparkle. You know how glitter gets all on stuff, and you find it 5 years later, even though you kind of like you cleaned it up. This is that little bit of glitter that sticks around. It's not our country. It's not our country. If it was our country, then I would be like, she would have had it this year. But this is not our country. So that gives me just a little bit of that leftover glitter from 5 years ago from the Christmas tree.
Absolutely. Okay. In the corner by itself. Yes. Yes. And you know, the thing is the Nobel organization, it's so revered. And the Nobel Prizes, whether it's literature, whether it's peace, it means something. If you award it to somebody who really doesn't deserve it simply because there's intimidation, the prize loses all its meaning. You might as well stop awarding them. If he ever got it, I'm telling you, they would not do them anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You've ruined it. You've tainted it. It's over. I agree.
Regina's in the house. Are you going to call in this week, Regina?
Regina.
Saying he goes, the ketchup was flying yesterday. That's for sure.
Baby, he waited. You know, he was up all night ready. He thought he was really going to get it because in his mind, he truly thinks that he's going to get everything that he wants.
Crazies. Regina, good to have you here. You know, I'm just waiting for you to call in one of these days. All right. Let's go for another quick 10-second break.
Watching Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa, where Aisha K. Staggers and LaLa Key try to make sense of the nonsense in American news and politics.
Wow. Wow.
It's Dr. Vibe, who's not Dr. Vibe.
Clearly, you have been having a time.
Oh, yes. I've been having fun. I've been having fun with that. I've been having fun.
I love it. That's fun.
So it needs to be cleaned up a little bit because there's the soda removal water. I would say, okay, the ladies want it. I'm going to play it. All right, let's move to our next conversation piece. MAGA plan to invade HBCU homecomings. I'm gonna let Dr. Tachi go first because she went to an HBCU. So I'm gonna let Dr. Tachi in on this one first. I'm gonna sit back for the next few minutes and enjoy the ride. Dr. Tachi.
You saw how I had to leave this frame. Well, first of all, this is all a ploy to bait people of African descent into action so that they can do things like maybe declare martial law. This is all a ploy. Mm-hmm. So exactly, choir, exactly. So I am a proud double graduate of Howard University, master's and PhD. You know. So
my husband went
too
there.
Much fun, LaLa. Control yourself.
Oh no! So we all have the HU connection because Dr. Vibe's father went to Howard. So I'm a proud graduate of Howard University, and one thing that they really instilled in us was a sense of self. This does not mean you don't get a sense of self if you go to a PWI, which is called a predominantly white institution. But there's something different with HBCUs. And I'm saying this as somebody who went to the University of Buffalo undergrad. I see the differences. There is a sense of self that is instilled in us. And as such, we're going to use that sense of self when it comes to these, what are they calling themselves? Blexit?
Yeah, Blexit.
Blexit. In terms of using propaganda to bait us into conversations. Now, they tried it with the red hat people, young, non-melanated red hat people they went to Tennessee State. They went to some of but Tennessee State and their band proudly blew them off campus. No, you won't. You're not invited here. So the difference here is that these Blexit maggots are now trying to do these things, but during homecoming, when most campuses are really kind of open and there's not as much, well, you're not invited, right? So they're trying to reorganize and do that. What I'm hearing a lot of people are saying, be vigilant, don't engage with them. Don't fall for their trap. But we're too smart to fall for their traps anyway. They don't know, and this is the thing. They don't know the power of HBCUs and the power of students who go and have gone to HBCUs. I'm hearing that alumni are in full force of, no, you won't, right? So they're telling young ones really not to engage with them. Just go on about your business. And then alumni are really stepping up to do this. And then, the colleges themselves, they see this and they are being vigilant. Homecoming is supposed to be a time for celebration, to come back home and celebrate, by the way, what we were not supposed to have. HBCUs are a reminder that we can have these things, right? And so you think we're going to let a few broken ink spots mess with that? We're not. We're not at all. So you're coming during homecoming. We don't care about you. We're not coming to have discourse. We're coming to tailgate. We're coming to see the band. We see the first half of the game and then see the band, because we leave after halftime because we don't care about the game. We care about the band. So we're coming to do that. People also, we're coming for camaraderie. We're coming for example, I'm a Delta. Every chapter of all of these organizations they're all going to have things that are going on. Do you think anybody really has time to sit and debate and argue with you? You give yourself way too much importance and you are a non-factor. All of you are non-factors. We also realize that by you working here, you're not to be trusted. By you working with them, there's also a level of self-hatred. And you're going to stand out like a sore thumb. There is self-hatred that we don't have. Now, this is not to say there are no Black Republicans that have come out of HBCUs, that there are no Black Republicans, that there are no Black maggots. Nobody is saying that, right? However, the overwhelming majority of us understand what was done, who we are, what we stand for, and our institutions instill that in us. They are in for a surprise. You thought you got blown off of Tennessee State's campus? It's worse when it's one of our own that we see as trying to sell us out. Just wait. That's all I have to say. Just wait.
LaLa?
Well, we have to remember where it's coming from. Let's look at what Blackset is. It is a part of the Turning Point USA movement. What did their fearless person do? He did the debates. He was famous for doing the debates, right? But Blackset is founded by Candace Owens. That right there should make you have a side eye. And now it's actually kind of run by Turning Point USA, who has the deep pockets, who has the campus access to many of them, and actually the donor network. They have a lot of money. If you don't believe me, they've decided that they're actually going to have their own halftime show because they don't want Bad Bunny to have one, right? So all they've done is picked up the banner of what they feel was taken from them and now moved it onto our campus. What I really feel is they're going to have a slap of reality hit them, because HBCUs are a different beast, baby. Okay, different beast. And the thing is, y'all think that we're uncivilized. What you're going to find is going to be civilized in a different way that you're not used to. So I think that this is going to be a disaster on their part, not our beautiful Black, young, gifted, and Black students that are on this campus, because they're going to know how to handle themselves. The ones on Tennessee campus handled themselves very well. Excellently. And all they did was just spit facts at them, and they couldn't handle that because they can't handle facts. It doesn't fit their narrative. So I like the fact that we as a community have gotten together and we have forewarned them of what's happening. It's like We've all got a community picnic, and this is how you're going to treat yourself accordingly. And watch them all fall in line properly, because they know that this is baiting, and they know that they can't fall into this right now because what's going to come after the baiting. And you're right, martial law will be instilled if anything like that they don't feel is, oh my God, they chased them out with bats and stuff, like that's what we do, right? Okay. But no, I have every faith in our young students on these campuses to do what they need to do accordingly, and to make sure that them people is very uncomfortable and have to pack up their bags and leave.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Regina's in the house saying the maggots are going to fail miserably. The word, quote, woke, unquote, is reclaiming its original meaning. Quote, be vigilant, unquote. By the way, today Diane Keaton passed,
Yes.
and I immediately thought she's 79, just like you know who.
No.
Yes, she passed right before the news just hit right before we went live. She's 79.
Yeah, and Regina also says I reach for an Advil every time Candace Owens opens her mouth.
She better watch out.
The thing is, she has to cling to that, because since she's aligned herself with that, she has to now cling to that, because she has nobody else. She really does not. That's a scary place to be.
Yes.
Somehow you are doing something good that you think is good by aligning yourself with these values and these people. But remember, these are the same people who would have sold you down the river, and they really don't care. But you have such a level of self-hatred. All of this is born of self-hatred. So you have such a level of self-hatred that to prove that you are worthy of their attention, you align with them.
Yeah.
For the most diabolical good. But like you said, LaLa, they are in for a surprise. They don't know. This is the thing. You had to have gone to an HBCU to understand. And I mean, and there's an understanding even if you didn't. But as somebody who has gone, there's an unspoken thing. There's a look. They don't know. They're about to find out. That's the thing about being so self-unaware, and being such a part of the quote dominant culture that you are so unaware of the co-cultures that exist within the dominant culture, and you think you have access to it all. And they think because they're Black, somehow this is the $10,000 pyramid question here. Do you think because you're Black, we're more apt to accept vitriol and rubbish because it's wrapped in the same package as we? This is where you're mistaken. I can't wait for it to fall apart, because now you are really messing with what I know, which is HBCUs, which is the power of HBCUs, which is the excellence of HBCUs. The way we approach things, I've been told over and over, and I'm not saying that I'm not Mensa, but I've been in situations with like some of my other friends that were in the doctoral program with me. And the way we handle something, we're going to get it now. So we're like, let's ride, let's go get it. We were with another person who happened to go to, she did her undergrad at Columbia. And she said, as soon as she saw us move into action, she said, I wish I had gone into an HBCU. I think I would have had so much more courage in these types of things. But that's what we do. That's what we do at HBCUs.
And it's a family thing. You rally around together. It is a big family thing. It don't even matter if you beefing with somebody. When the call gets called, everything gets put behind you and you stand together.
Do you feel with an action like this that MAGA is looking for a civil war?
Of course.
Absolutely. And guess what? I give the South permission to secede right now. Please. You all have been nothing but a drag on the northern states. We continuously pay for your existence. And I say we, even though I live in Florida, I'm a New Yorker. We continuously pay for your existence. We get little in return back. And what you do is you continue to behave like lizards. So go, please, be your own country. We don't need you here.
Dr. Tachi, then, so you are saying HBCU's responses, the students will be what to this invasion?
So do you mean from the HBCU administration, or we're just talking about in general?
Invasion of the campus. What do you, from your knowledge and your heart of being an alumni, how do you expect the response to be from the students to this so-called invasion?
Okay, so well, the response of the students, I thought you were saying, how is the administration asking them to respond?
Maybe let's look at the administration. Let's go to the administration first.
So I can't really, here's the thing, I can't really speak for administrations of different HBCUs because I haven't seen their statements yet in terms of this, because again, this is just now, it's not even in theory, they're trying to actualize it, but we've just seen this on social media and we've just seen all these things. So we don't have statements from these universities, but if I could make a guess, I would guess that they would respond in the same way Tennessee State did when unwelcome guests came on campus. I'm hoping to hear some statements. Again, it's a little iffy. It's a different situation because this is during homecoming time and campuses are more open during homecoming. For example, if there's a yard fest, they could buy tickets to go to the game, etc. So what I'm saying is, like, if you haven't gotten your tickets to go to the game or whatever, please buy them up so these people cannot. Okay.
Yeah.
Do that.
I don't doubt that they've already put that into place.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what I'm hoping to see, or what I think is probably going to happen in terms of the student response to this. We've been telling them, the aunties, the uncles, the parents, alumni, have been telling them, look, don't engage, don't. So we're hoping that they hold that up and don't engage with them, but also know yourself and who you are, because part of the thing is people can easily persuade and dissuade you and sway you one way or the other when you don't have a strong sense of self. And so this is again, this is different of you going to a PWI and trying to connect with Black students who may not have a strong sense of self versus HBCU students who, when you come in, you are instilled with a strong sense of self. Again, I went to Howard as a grad student, so I didn't have to do some of the things they did. But when you come in as an undergrad, you know what you have to learn? The school song. You know what you also have to learn? The Black National Anthem.
Yes,
everybody knows it. So there's already, this is what I'm saying, there's a level of indoctrinating in a good way you with your history, with your self-worth. When you go into classes, some of the conversations we would have in classes, just amazing. So they're prepared. I think they're going to be just fine.
Okay. Marcus American says it's funny that people who have never seen real war call for civil war.
Hello.
All right. And Regina says admins should have major security cameras everywhere and let the maggots know that they're under surveillance.
Yes.
Regina also says, I'm not calling in till I get my techno-intelligent neighbor to set up my computer. Still moving back in. My former students who attended HBCUs were all brilliant. They won't break the line.
Agreed.
Right? So, Marquis says, my great-great-grandfather freed slaves fleeing the battle at Gettysburg. Now my family's supposedly a white supremacist. What a joke. Oh, all right. We've got one more conversation piece before we leave today. So yes, we do. Let's do this.
You are watching Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa, where Aisha K. Staggers and LaLa Key try to make sense of the nonsense in American news and politics.
There we go.
I like.
What's her name?
I don't know. I
was like, I just got her out there. I don't know her name.
I just no. So last conversation piece.
Yeah.
Hakeem Jeffries, you mentioned about him earlier, publicly pops off at a GOP ref, and good Lord, it's messy. So what are our thoughts on Mr. Jeffries these days?
My same ones. My same ones. I am not a fan of Hakeem. Listen, the halls of Congress is really more like a reality show now. It's not what our government should be. And this heated exchange between Hakeem and the Republican Congressman Mike Lawler, he's of New York. It happened right in the middle of this government shutdown that we have, right? So Lawler came back to him and he was like, he was trying to push Jeffries to back a short-term extension for healthcare, right? Under the Affordable Health Care Act. But Jeffrey wasn't having it this time. Now, sometimes I like to see him get a little fiery, but sometimes I wonder, okay, is that just for the cameras? What he actually fired back about and actually gave a nice little shot there at the end is that he accused the Republicans of playing political games. Of course, we all know. And he actually said that they actually went radio silent. And then he threw in this jab by saying, did Trump give you permission to speak? That's what I was like, whoa, what is the pop for that one? Right? Because honestly, that's when the gloves came off. So then it just became an actual shouting match. You know, the cameras were rolling, but nothing is getting solved. We have military people serving our country right now who are standing in food bank lines because they are not getting paid. So even inside the GOP right now, outside of what's happening with Hakeem, they are actually fighting and pushing back against their own party. So, you know, we like that three toes lady, MTG, right? She actually broke ranks with people again. Sometimes I do not like to agree with that woman, but like we said, even twice a day, the clock is right, right? She says she's actually had enough. And she actually said it's the fault of, you know, Mike Johnson and that Congress needs to get government going back in. All this is just a political show. I don't believe that this showed that Hakeem has any power whatsoever or is still a good leader for us. I really don't. They need to be doing way more than what they're doing. For someone who actually said, we don't have the power, you don't get the position, then you get the power. If you feel like we're already defeated and you're not fighting for us, there's a problem. So once again, this was a political show at the expense of Americans. And although I like to see people get feisty and push back, I much rather would have seen Jasmine do it.
Any thoughts on Mr. Jeffries from you, Dr. Tachi?
Meh.
So Regina says Lawler is an idiot. He represents Westchester County.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It was a show.
Okay. Then question is, do you have, so you feel that Jasmine should replace?
I do, but I hate to put everything on her because she is everything. And this is what and I've said this before and I'll say it again.
Where are the rest of them? Why aren't they? Why is she the only one?
That's exactly what I'm saying. There's only one or two that are standing behind and doing the same thing that she's doing. Of course, she gets a little more media because she's more feisty and more smart about it because she is quick-witted, right? They can't handle the quick wit. A lot of those who are also standing up behind her, the two or three that are behind her, are not so quick-witted with their words, but she gets all of the attention on that. But here's the thing that I don't want to do because this is their plan. They want to wear her down. Every chance they get to knock her down, they do. Just like when she was running to be the head of a committee and they knocked her down immediately. You see how exhausted she is because she is truly fighting for America. But you cannot just put this on one woman's shoulders. Once again, the Black woman's shoulders, and expect them to save the world. If you ask me, Hakeem Jeffries is not the one. He's not the one. He would have stood up and done what he needed to do from the very beginning. I think him and Schumer are both jokes, and they both need to step aside.
What is the future of Democratic leadership then?
We don't have any. That's what's frightening. That's what's really frightening is we don't have anyone. I'm telling you right here and right now, I know so many friends of mine who are Democrats who are like, I'm not voting for that anymore. What are they doing for us? They're not. And the problem is when you admit defeat before you do anything, then what gives us hope for anything ever changing?
See, they have proven that, you know, when you have a friend, for example, who always comes to like borrow money from you or whatever, you're just like a hypothetical, always comes to borrow money. And then the one time you think they just came to see you, they really came to borrow money, because that person is who that person is and they are not going to change. And so for you to expect anything less from them, that's on you. So to the Democrats, I don't know why you keep thinking that the people on the other side are actually reasonable and are going to work with you. They're not. They've come to borrow money. Again, you thought they came to see you and they really just came to borrow another $200. And you fall for it every time. And I keep saying that they're working under the pretense that the other side is workable with, right?
Yeah.
Which is not a word, but they're not. They're not, because if they were, there would have been some reasonable movement by now. And we have to remember that for a long time, they have been the GOP, that is, party above republic every time, which is why they will stick with stupid decisions to the fault of it. And many of them inside know like this doesn't make any sense, but they will stay with it because party over republic. So you now have to say, I can't work with them.
Yeah.
Jasmine Crockett is like, I don't have time. I can't work with you. That's the same attitude you all have to have.
All right, comments here from the audience watching live. Free Will says, Dr. Vibe and panel, hello.
Yay.
Regina says, Jasmine is the future senator of Texas. I don't see that happening, unfortunately. Free Will says, look, Letitia is a target of Felon 47 regime. We talked about that earlier. You're going to have to watch the replay, but thank you for watching the replay last night, Free Will. I saw your comments. Marquis says, everything revolves around race. Sad. Welcome to America.
We don't deal with bots, Marquise. We don't. We already know what you are. Sorry. Okay. We can see that as a mile away. This is a free speech place, except when you just come in to cause problems.
And also, we don't make it revolve around race. That's other people.
Thank you.
We don't care.
That's a fact.
Free Will says, hi, Dr. Tachi. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yes.
He also says, Felon 47 is barking up the wrong tree. Enlightened Being says the Democrats have lost their base. And Regina says, Pete Buttigieg, Judge, got it right. Things are going to get worse before they're going to get better, and we can't even go back to business as usual. We have to admit what needs to get fixed and do it.
That's going to be a lot of hard work. You know, tearing down of a country and rebuilding it's not an overnight thing. No. What he and this administration has done has torn down things so fast that are going to take us many generations to fix or build back up. But like I've always said, and I will always say, America was never founded on solid foundation. It was always built on sinking sand. And the result that we are seeing, things that are happening now, the result of that has to be completely burned down. It must rise from the ashes. I don't think that we're going to see that in our lifetime. I don't. I think it is going to get worse before it gets better, because everyone is out for themselves and no one ever wants to discuss properly without bashing one another on how to fix things, because everybody wants their way.
Anything to add to that, Dr. Tachi?
No, I agree. I think, but to the contrary, I actually do think we will see this, because I think people have been tired forever, but for the first time, everybody is tired. Does that make sense? This is the first time where you see, let's talk about the people on the side of right. I'm not even talking about those But people on the side of right, everybody is tired because this time it's come for everybody. Poor Jimmy Kimmel, they came for you too. It's come for entertainment. It's come, and it's like, okay, when you start doing this, this is when we know we're tired, right? I'm sorry it took that to get you to understand, but I think we will see it because everybody is tired. And nobody wants to, who wants to live an existence looking behind your back and over your shoulder all the time? It's tiring. So I'm thinking we're going to see this because the people who, there are some people that are like, well, to hell with this place, we'll just leave, right? And rightfully so, because they've done nothing to keep people who talent here. They've done nothing to do that, but not everybody can leave necessarily. So the ones that are going to stay are like, oh, well, we're not going to live like this. So I think we'll see it.
Okay. Let's see if we have any more comments. Says, Enlightened Being says, wrong place, but you know that, Makis, they don't bait here.
I like that.
Free Will says Regina is correct. This issue is because Pete is part of the quote ABC unquote community, is why he will not be heard. Just my thoughts. And then Regina also says, agree, it will take time, but also agree with Dr. Tachi that so many folks are tired and will be motivated to fix the holes and dysfunctions in the system.
I really hope so. I need to make that clear. I hope so. But I have to be very honest. I wake up every morning with a dread for our country because regardless of what we say, we always love our country. Good, bad, wrong, evil. It's still home. That is our home. No one wants to see their home burn like this.
On that note, I think we'll say adieu, as Dr. Tachi likes to say. All right. Well, family, I want to say thanks again. And there's an interesting conversation going on in the chat that I'm not going to put some of it up on right now. You can have that.
No, it's a conversation with himself. So don't even worry about it.
Okay. Right. All right. Well, as always, want to say thank you to Lise for, especially Dr. Tachi, for making her time from her A Growing Hat collection to hang out with us today. So, Dr. Tachi, how can people get a hold of you? And I'm just going to put it up on the screen right now.
Absolutely. So you can, there you go. Instagram is the best way to get a hold of me, via social media. You can also watch us on youtube.com//@IndieSoup Media. And for the next time, what I'll do, just like you have I have a link tree, which gives you everything. So I'll have to give you my link tree. I just haven't yet. But right now, the best way to reach me is at Dr._Tachi.
Thanks again for the most important thing in your life, your time, as always.
Absolutely.
Dr. LaLa Key.
Well, first, I always love when Dr. Tachi joins us. I do, and I really appreciate you joining us every time that you do. You always bring great points.
And we get some of the best LaLa faces when Dr. Tachi is there.
Yeah, everything shows on my face. I'm an open book.
There you go.
Listen, you can find me at one place. You can find me at my website, which is laurakey.net. Now, listen, like I said earlier, I have this awesome product. It's Holiday Bliss. It's going to help you to balance during the holidays, help you plan for all of the holidays. And I do mean Halloween, Hanukkah, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Kwanzaa, New Year's, you name it. It is there for you to enjoy yourself because, see, we are under so much stress all the time, every day. You need to make sure that you express and have joy every single day, even if it's just eating a piece of toast in the morning with your favorite spread. We must take care of ourselves and also honor ourselves because it all starts with ourselves. So to go and get that, all you have to do is go to my website as well as many other free things at laurakey.net.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Love it, love it, love it. All right. And before, let's put it this. I'm going to put, there's still comments. So I'm just going to these last comments that are on here. There's a lot of interesting things going on in the comments. I'm going to put some of these up. Enlightened Being says, great show, family. You always bring it. Free Will says, good to see y'all. I have much respect for your platform, Dr. Vibe. Well, respect all of us. It's not me, it's all. Thank you very much. Regina says, thank you, Queens and Dr. Vibe. Oh, well, LaLa's called Queens on another platform. I guess there's 2 platforms now that she's called Queens. Dr. Tachi says, thanks, y'all. Dr. Tachi says, coming into the comments respectful. Dr. Tachi coming in the comments respectfully. Well, Dr. Tachi always does things respectfully. Her parents would have it no other way. Her Nigerian parents would have it no other way. That's what I would know. So for me, one simple link, toplink.cc/the Dr. Vibe Show. Want to say thank you to everyone who watched it live or on the replay. And you can watch replays of this epic conversation called Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa, and sometimes Dr. Tachi also at the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and the Dr. Vibe Show website, which is www.thedrbeshow.com. I'm going to leave the comments. Oh, and you know what? Even LaLa, thank you for joining, everyone. We appreciate you so much. So even LaLa saying the big thank you. All right. As always, how do we close it out? Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both and make it better. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith while good. And Aisha, I hope you and NBC, we want to see your contract with NBC next time we see you. Take care.
To understand how afraid I am of any member of the rodent family that's down to squirrels and chipmunks. Okay? I cannot stand all members of the rodent family. Rabbits, bunnies, no. What else is going on that day? I mean, is there something we're supposed to be doing?
Why are you going there? Why are you going there? You know I'm going to ask you. It falls the same day as the inauguration of the new president.
The what? Excuse me? I'm sorry.
So in other words, Monday.
So onesies. Now, folks, don't ever think you're going to see us all on a show with onesies on. Don't do that.
You might see me. You might see me.
You'll see me and LaLa, because we oftentimes wear ours.